Hello guys, I hope you guys are great and doing well. There's this video of Benny Hinn making rounds on all social media platforms. That's from YouTube and any other social media platforms. He's asking for forgiveness and apologizing to some of the things, few mistakes he made within his ministry or the mistakes that were made within his ministries. And there are two things that are dominant in that apology. One is the false prophecies that he made, and he makes it clear there are things that he thought God was talking to him, and he ran outside there to go and share those things, but he have discovered it was not from God, any point and all that. And number two, he allowed false testimonies, in his ministry, people to come and give their testimonies as if it is happening, and it was not happening. And personally, there are two things that one thing that I admire with him, and that is, coming out so public and try to say, yes, I did a mistake. And I'm not proud of those mistakes that I did, that if time was to be reverted back, I would do it better, or I would have done better, or I will do it better, because now I have more knowledge on how things are supposed to be done, on how things are to be done. And this leads me to asking our questions before we go to that video, to listen to that video. There are men of God and women of God in this era that are still doing the same mistake. They think they come outside and speak things as if God is talking to them, but in the real sense, it's not God who is talking to them and all that. Do they attribute some of the things that are happening unto God that are not of God? But because they want you to believe, they'll say, God told me. Because they want you to believe, they say, God is saying, and all that. That's the reason to why, nowadays, I even doubt some testimonies that people say, and then attribute them to God, that God has done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for me. Are those testimonies some of the baits that those men of God and women of God want to use to attract people on their side? Okay, let's listen to Ben Hinn and leave your comment.
The two things I regret most in ministry. I was not too wise a number of times with prophecy. Number one, I had guests come to the crusades that I think brought harm to not only people's lives, but also to my reputation, because their prophecies were not really prophecy.
Are there any regrets that you have?
Absolutely. They went outside the borders of redemption, because anything that's outside redemption is not prophecy. We know, of course, that prophecy is for edification, exhortation, and comfort, but it must be within redemption. And when people come who go beyond that, we should not allow that. And sadly, I allowed it, and then I stopped. But that was years ago when I stopped. And then there were times when I thought God had showed me something that He wasn't showing me, and I spoke it out. And sadly, and I wish I can go back and fix it, but sadly, there were some prophecies I gave that were not accurate or from the Lord. They went outside the borders of, but who's perfect? And for that, of course, I ask people to forgive me. I'm just human and made mistakes like that. And I'll probably make them again, I suppose, down the road, because I'm not perfect. We will be perfect one day when we're with the Lord. As long as we're in this body that's imperfect, we're not going to make perfect decisions and even say the things we need to say or should say. But it's sad when people focus on the times you missed it. But that's just, the way it is. Yet there were times when I did not miss it. But who's perfect? And for that, of course, I ask people to forgive me. I'm just human and made mistakes like that. And I'll probably make them again, I suppose, down the road, because I'm not perfect. We will be perfect one day when we're with the Lord. As long as we're in this body that's imperfect, we're not going to make perfect decisions and even say the things we need to say or should say. But it's sad when people focus on the times you missed it. But that's just, the way it is. Yet there were times when I did not miss it. But who's perfect?